Okay, so when we want to filter dates, instead of using a slicer, we also have an option of a timeline. So let me just delete this slicer and show you the timeline. So we're on this particular pivot table, we go to the pivot table, analyze, and in here we click insert timeline. Now what will happen is the dialog box that appear would pick up all the date related fields. Now there's only one, which is the date field over here. So we tick on that one to select it and say okay. And then what happens is it'll immediately pull up the timeline. So you can see here on this drop down, I can select whether I want to see months, years, quarters. So currently it's showing months. And if I expand the size of it, and let's just do that, and we scroll, you can see each of the months actually from 2019 Jan, each of the months. Now the way it actually works is you click on a starting point and then you drag which area you want to do. So this basically means that I've selected the area of March to August 2019. So you can see these figures now will be for that period over there. If I click on this drop down over here and I select quarters instead of months, you can now see in terms of quarters, which may be easier to view because we have such a wide period. So let's say I wanted to cover quarter 4 of 2020 up till quarter 3 of 2021. So you can see quarter 4 to quarter 3, that area, and that basically then shows the result for that area. So you can effectively click on any particular quarter, any particular time period, and you can actually drag on either end. So I can drag left or I can drag right to cover the time period that I want to look at. And as I said earlier on, you can actually change this depending on what time period you want to look at. So if we were looking at only years, we would click at that and it will now basically look into this way in terms of just showing each year. Usually you'd want to show more, so quarters is probably a good balance for this particular set of data. The way timelines work, you can also actually connect the timeline to multiple pivot tables. So under the timeline tab, remember once we create a timeline, similar to a slicer, when we select the timeline, we'll now have a timeline tab on the ribbon. And in this area, we can obviously change the formatting, for example, as you can see different options over there. And you can go into the report connection. So when I click on report connections, you can see I can tick on to also connect it to this particular pivot table, which is called region pivot. So if I do that and say okay, you see those numbers have changed. And as I now select different areas, the numbers will change in both of the pivot tables.